Hello and welcome. My name is Bruce Brown, and I am the president of Tabletop Alliance. We are a 501c3 nonprofit here in the United States, helping bring games and development to researchers, to educators, to community leaders, so that way they can use games to further their outcomes. And we're just so excited to be having this webinar here today. I got a very special guest from across the pond, and this you've maybe heard of this company before, but we have Asmodee Research here today to talk about all the games and support that they've been doing in this phenomenal industry and tying games to very specific outcomes through some amazing research around the world. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on our special guest, let him introduce himself and let him steal the show, because it's amazing work that they are doing. So I cannot wait to bring him on. So here he is. Hey!
Hi everyone. Hi. Bonjour à tous.
So I'm so excited for you to be here. I know we've been talking for the last little bit, but if you wouldn't mind, please introduce yourself, as well as kind of share a little bit about yourself before we kick off the presentation.
Okay, sure. So thank you for the invitation. It's a real pleasure to have this possibility to present my activities into Asmodee for your community. So thanks again. So I'm Mikael Bourhis. My nickname is Misha. Everyone into the industry name me Misha. So I think you can hear that. I'm coming from France. I'm working for Asmodee for more than 5 years now. Before working for Asmodee, I've made a PhD in neuroscience. My PhD wasn't related to board game at all. It was about olfaction and how neurons and supporting cells are communicate with each others. But I do have this passion for board games. I decided to quit science for a bit for working into the board game industry. You will see that in my deck. I was very fan of FFG product, and I was the French project manager for Fantasy Flight game for the French market for a couple of years, and I had this idea in my mind using the research for the board games to dig for meaningful data to provide evidence about the benefit for board games. So this idea makes something in my brain. I've discussed with Asmodee managers in 2017, and there it is. I'm here to present you my activities.
That's fantastic. And you're right, there's a lot of really cool stuff going on with FFG. So thank you for helping stewarding that brand internationally. But there's so many great things with board games in research and the impact that they can have. And so I can't wait to turn it over. So let's just turn it over to you. I'm going to share your presentation. And here we go. And I'm going to hide my because you are the star of the show. So the show is yours.
Thank you. So just the introduction slide about the topic. So I will tell you about Asmodee research activity into the Asmodee universe. So you know our motto, from great games to amazing stories. And just for people, Asmodee, it's a 25 years existence company with a lot of IPs in our catalog. We have different game studios. We have different distribution units around the world too, and we are a company working for entertainment creation content based on board games. And you know our iconic brands such as Spotted, Catan, or Ticket to Ride. We have a different platform to work with. Asmodee Board Games, who are making all the board games, card games, and miniatures games. And we have a new platform for a couple of years now with Asmodee Digital, Asmodee Entertainment, for more deeper experience for the players. And we have a dedicated team studying how the consumer are in interaction with us. So this is the main activity for Asmodee. And of course, Asmodee Research is one of the new activities as well. Asmodee is one of the leader into the board game industry, but we want to be a benevolent leader. We want to take care of this industry. So we have built Asmodee Research with a clear purpose for the enhancement and the valorization of game societal value. I've built Asmodee Research like a narrative department, very innovative, very international in terms of objective and goals and projects. We want to be interdisciplinary, and we want to be focused on research, health, and education. And of course, Asmodee Research is a part of the CSR policy for Asmodee. And my motto into Asmodee Research is very supporting gaming, educational, and research professional, and everyone convinced that games goes beyond entertainment. In games, we have intrinsic values, and we want to use them. We want to promote them, and all the projects into Asmodee Research are, put on the sustainable development goals for the UN, and the different projects I will tell you about are more focused on health, well-being, education, gender equality, and reducing the inequalities. And I'm working with a lot of different partners for this goal. So I've gave you the overview of the Asmodee research activity, and now I'm going more into the details of the different projects. So the first project I've undertaken is named Gaming Lab. It's a supporting game research project. It's a project that have been built with the Innovation Factory. It's a partner from a long time of Asmodee. And Gaming Lab, it's the board game research supporting program. The idea behind that is very to promote the research about the effect of board games, to study the benefits on the players in different contexts. And Gaming Lab is overseen by a scientific committee to guarantee the quality, the neutrality, and the ethic of the program. And they are in charge of all the selection of the project we are supporting. The goal for Gaming Lab are very clear. The first one is to provide grants support to scientific projects on board games. The second one is to create a mixed community between academics, education, professional from the board game industry, or passionate players interest in this topic, and encourage collaboration between those people. And of course, we want to have a very living community around the project. How do we work? How can we have action? Since 2018, we have two types of call for project. These call for project are there to select the different international project, scientific project on board games. Each year, we are able to support 3 to 5 projects. These projects are between 1 year and 1 year and a half. It should be in 1 year, but with the sanitary crisis, we have make the conversion a bit longer, and every grant are up to 15k euros. And for 2 years now, we have selected 8 different projects from 7 different countries, and the third call for project is still running. It will be ending mid-April, I guess. So in 2019, we have three projects. In 2020, we have 5 projects. And in 2021, we will have like 3 to 5 new projects. We are very proud of the different thematical and expertise from this project, going from sociology, psychology, neuroscience, anthropology, and so on, and from the diversity of the origin of this project as well, coming from the US, France, Spain, Canada, UK, and so on. So we are very proud of this selection, very proud of the start of this initiative. We receive a ton of application since year 1, and it's going higher and higher every year. So it's very relevant to say that the interest for board games, interest for science and board game are going higher and higher as well. And I think we are in the right timing to provide support to these researchers. On the other hand, we have a call for project for a PhD project. It's more focused on French laboratories for now because we have a specific grant for that named CIFRE. It's a collaboration between a firm, a company, and a laboratory, and we have a cashback from the state for that. So we have small short-term projects at an international level and a long-term project in a French perimeter. And we have our first PhD project since last October, running by Léa Martinez from France. She will study how board games can have an impact into the development of cognitive function in teenage and how it could be related to school achievement. So she has started to work with me last October, and she's running her PhD experiment in a laboratory in France. And a new PhD student should arrive with us next October. So this is how we are providing grants and support to new scientific project related to board games. I can give you some other example. The first project we have selected in 2019, it's a French one, and it was very focused on how adapted board games for Alzheimer patients can have a big impact for well-being of these patients. They have made a specific adaptation of games of Spot It and Timeline, and the result was very positive for the patient, for the caregivers, for the professional as well. And we have an increase of the emotion, of the social interaction, of the well-being of those patients thanks to this board game. So we are very proud of this first complete action between board games and research. I already gave you some details about the PhD of Léa about the evolution of cognitive function with board game use in teenage. And the second mission of Gaming Lab is to spread this scientific knowledge. We are helping people with grant on one hand, and on the other hand, we want to diffuse this scientific knowledge. So before the pandemic, we are used to make a lot of events locally and internationally. We used to organize some meetup in Paris with a specific theme to have a direct discussion between experts and our community. It was very well organized, a lot of involvement from the community for this type of events. We wanted to spread this type of organization in other cities, in other countries, to find some ambassador to organize this type of event. And 2020 was difficult for that. And on the other hand, of this small and local event, we were used to organize some talk in game event in Festival des Jeux in France, in Gen Con or in Spiel in US or in Germany. And the idea was to give the opportunity to researchers to present their study to a broader audience. So we have made some talk in France, we have made a talk in Germany. We should make a first talk in Gen Con last year, but of course it was cancelled. So at the end of 2020, we have decided to think about our events, and we have decided to go full digital for 2021. So last January, we have met our second symposium for Gaming Lab to present all the projects we are supporting, make a presentation on YouTube, and having an interaction on Discord. So everything is on our YouTube channel. You have all the 9 project presentation there. And we have started a special thing, a full conference cycle dedicated for role-playing games and how role-playing games can be used in research, education, remediation, and so on. And the idea is to have different events in specific countries for specific local community. We have the first one event tomorrow in French about how you can use RPG to create imagination and new universe. Then we will have events in UK, in Italy, in Canada, in US, and in Brazil. And each time we want to have a different vision on about how RPG can be useful and meaningful for this type of expertise. So very impatient to have this event going for real, and every event will be fully digital. So it's totally a new way for us to organizing these events. I forgot to have more detail about the RPG conference cycle. So everything I've already said are on this slide, and you have the different partners and the timeline about the different events we are organizing. And I think that it's for Gaming Lab. So Gaming Lab is existing for 4 years now. It's a board game supporting project. I think I've give you all the details, and I will be very happy to answer a question about that. But I think I have a last slide for you because I have a new project incoming named Gaming School. The logo, it's still work in progress, and the idea is to have a game educative action to support all the people using board games into the educational field. The idea behind that is to create an educational and international networks dedicated to use of board games in education, gather professional communities for sharing best practices and methods about game-based learning, to of course, create some interaction between board games company educators to have some legitimized content creation. And of course, the idea behind that is to put more games into the hand of teachers and students for the benefit of its use. So I have a new collaborator with me working on that at the moment. So it's very new, it's very work in progress. We want to make some connection with people like you who wants to believe in this purpose as well. So if people you are hearing that, we are very happy to be in connection with you. So I think I've give you all the details I have for today, and I hope you have questions.
Oh
Thanks.
my gosh. Well, that was, first of all, thank you. That was amazing. I'm going to put this up. And I know the audience can see me, but maybe you could see me in this kind of grayed outside. I was doing this happy dance. I took a picture of the screen. That is just incredible with what y'all are coming out with, and I cannot wait to hear more. So thank you for that amazing, amazing surprise, and I'm so thankful that Asmodee has really taken this call that you've been presenting them with of how can we do these things on an international level, and we're happy to help. But thank you so much for helping steward that from within. And I think I can speak for everybody, and it's been amazing to see some of the results of some of this research, right? So the work with Alzheimer's and helping out not just the patient, but the center, so the staff as well as the families. You mentioned a couple different things, the Game and Lab Symposium YouTube channel, as well as the Discord. And so if this was interesting to somebody and they're like, hey, I hear this, I want to learn more, I want to connect, how could they get involved with Game and Lab if they're a researcher wanting to just help out and contribute to that conversation?
Okay, so we want to make our website more friendly users. So we have redesigned all our website last winter, and all the key pages has to be in French and English. So today our call for project, our international call for projects are in French and English. So every international researchers can apply directly to our website. And like in next week or maybe the weeks after, the new pages for all the project will appear in our website, and all the final report will be there in English, because Gaming Lab is to spread the knowledge. It's not only to take for Asmodee. It's very open data. So the report for Philippe Robert study about Alzheimer and one game will be downloadable on our website. So it will be the 12 pages final report will be there. So the document is already ready. The web page is still, work in progress, but I think in maybe 10 days or 2 weeks, it will be live on our website. So that's the first thing. Then today we have a Discord specifically for researchers to have these networks able to share what could be the cool next event, what could be the next call for project, what is the next main journal to be focused if you want to study these specific topics. So it's very for academics people into game studies, but we have made our symposium in Discord too. So we have another Discord dedicated for our symposium, and we are working to merge this to Discord into like the main Gaming Lab Discord channel, in order to have the researchers, the passionate people, the designers and people who want to interact, like, I have this survey, we want to answer it to, or I'm looking for researchers to study this specific design, or to create collaboration between these different part of our community. So we are working on the merging of the two Discord channel. I think it will arriving like maybe in April. So the idea behind that is everyone who want to get in touch with our networks have the possibility to do so.
Awesome. And that's amazing. I think it's a great idea to kind of merge that and see what kind of interesting collaborations or opportunities from those different lenses. I look forward to seeing it. You mentioned about the Game and Lab conference, and we talked about the Alzheimer's one, but you also mentioned about all the other projects having their presentations, most of which were in French. So I'm looking forward to hearing all the
2 or 3 are in French and the other are in English. Yeah.
Okay, and so if you wouldn't mind, just for those who, in anticipation of what's going to get posted to the website, can you just talk a little bit about some of the other projects that excite you or that you've seen come through?
Yeah, I think I'm very thrilled by all the project, but for 2019, we have 3 first projects. The one on Alzheimer, of course, and the other one from Melissa Rogerson, a researcher from Melbourne in Australia. She's studying the digital part of hybrid board games and how this digital part is meaningful for players or for designers, and like she's creating a mapping of the functionality behind this digital part. So it's very interesting, and to see the evolution of the hybrid games into the board game company. And so I think it will be a great final report. I think the final report will be available maybe in May as well. The third one, I do love this project, led by Annick Pelletier from Quebec. She's a remediation teacher. She's using board games for 17 years to help children with disabilities to pass through their problem. She knows which game to use in each situation in terms of planification, in terms of long-term memory issues, and this kind of stuff. And she have made like a full program or training program for school in Quebec. And the idea is to give like a training session for specific kids and make evaluation of their school capacity before and after the long-term training. And in 2019 everything went well, and in 2020 every school was shut down, so the project is postponed. We hope to relaunch the project in September 2020, but we prefer to relaunch it in 2021. So maybe in a couple of months the project will be relaunched again. Yeah, finger crossed. And for 2020, for 2020 selection, we have 5 different projects. The US one, it's leading by Rebecca Bayek. She's studying anthropology, and she wants to use the Songo, traditional African board games, and how these board games can have an impact for social cohesion in Cameroon. So it's a very different from our previous project, but it's still very interesting. We have a project about board game and autism, led by Liam Cross in UK, and how board games can be beneficial for these people. We have a project in Spain about how board games can be helpful for children with risk of exclusion, social exclusion. A project led by Ariela Holanda in Brazil, and the relation between board game practice and the development of social skills. And the last one in France by Régis Coutinho, how board game can be useful to hijack school learning and this kind of field. So every project for 2020 are, try to be agile to go forward depending of the situation. Of course, some of them, like for Rebecca, she need to go in Cameroon, so maybe we will wait about how we can travel.
Mm-hmm.
But the other can be more digitalized or this kind of stuff. So these projects are moving forward as they can, but we are still very happy with the direction.
Yeah, and for all our viewers, I just want to say thank you on behalf of them, because obviously this is a pretty broad spectrum but extremely deep impact across all these different segments. And for some, it's a lot of really at-risk populations. And so thank you for helping these kids and students and individuals around the world. And so I just got to ask you, you were going with your PhD route. You were like, I'm going to go into this board game thing. And then from there, you felt this calling, like pull on the heart, and this calling to how can we help achieve these UN goals, right? And steward this. How is it now that you've been kind of doing this a little bit and you're seeing the results? What is this like for you? How do you feel?
I think I feel lucky because okay, it was and it is and it will be a lot of work for me because I'm very a small team in Asmodee, and maybe it will be bigger and bigger, but it's clearly not the Asmodee main activities. So it was a lot of work, but I think I had this creativity, I had this background. I go into a company who have this very dynamic growth and want to be innovative and give me the support to try this initiative. And back in the days, a couple of years ago, we didn't knew how it will goes. It will be very like we plant a seed and we will see what happens, and 4 years later we have established our roots. Now we are knowing how we want to support science. We know we want to support education as well. We know we want to support a specific healthcare system with our research. So we have our purpose and ambition and mission really established. So yeah, I'm very proud. I'm very confident about all the results, the return of investment will arrive in the incoming years, because like I have some background in science, I do know that science takes time, and the timeline for Gaming Lab is showing that as well. Of course, there is a 2020 sanitary crisis, but even if there is not the COVID situation, science take time. And I knew when I've begun this journey in 2017, 2018, it will take like 4-5 years to be, at full level, full time. So maybe in 1 year or two, we will have some result to show, new experiments to start, and so on. And we will like in a good rolling system. And so yeah, proud about the journey already made, but very enthusiastic and impatient for the future.
I think that many other academics would be right there with you for every one of their research projects. We're always really excited, but it's a slow burn until we get to finally see it come together. And so on behalf of everybody with Tabletop Alliance and all other educators out there, I just want to say thank you for even planting these seeds. And I'm reminded of a really good quote, and that is that we never know how the shade of the trees that we're planting today, right? We'll never sometimes get to feel that, but I'm so thankful for you that you're already getting to see some of the fruits of that labor. And I'm thankful for everything that Asmodee is doing to help steward this. And I cannot wait to hear more about game in schools. And so when that gets a little bit more fleshed out, let's have you and others on to help talk about that and help spread the word. But I just want to say thank you so much for everything today, and I encourage any of you, if you are an academic out there or if you are an educator out there, please go check out the Game and Lab and soon Game and School websites and contact information. And thank you so much for being on with us today.
Thank you for these opportunities. Thank you for your support, and I'm pretty sure we will be in touch very soon.
Sounds great. Well, y'all have a great one. And as we end everything we do, go make your positive impact on the world.